Guvna B, thank you so much for being here.
It's good to be here, man.
Mate, what a pleasure. I just watched your the short film you just released called
This Bed I Made.
This Bed I Made, which is also the title track of the new album, which is just about to drop. But there was a moment in the car with, I think the character's name is Naya, where you say, I hope you find the peace you're looking for. And she says, I don't think it's peace that I'm looking for, which I thought was a really beautiful moment. Have you found the peace that you're looking for?
Good question. I think I'm on a journey towards it, and with a lot of these journeys in my life, I don't know if there's a destination, is what I'm learning. I think it's an ongoing process of like waking up every day, taking 24 hours at a time and trying to find like the peace in today.
Okay.
And then hopefully if I keep repeating that, then I look back and I'm like, okay, cool. This is a life mostly of, you know, being on this journey towards peace. But I think it's an ongoing process. I'd be reluctant to say, yeah, man.
Yeah.
I've
found it.
I found it. You get me?
So it's more about like a peaceful life, like a peaceful practice, as opposed to like, I've reached peace.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's been my journey over the last couple of years. I've always been very results driven. I think it maybe stems from childhood, where I got a lot of affirmation. If, I don't know, I got like good exam results or I put out a good song. Yeah. That feeling of like, oh, well done, or you did a great job. I think I kind of got addicted to it. And
it's easily done.
Yeah, man. Yeah, you'll know as well. But when you remove it, it's almost like, where do I get that validation from or that affirmation from if I haven't got it at, you know, my peaceful, usual state? So yeah, I've been on a journey of trying to incorporate, I guess you could call it like practices, routine, ritual into my life that helps ground me.
What does like look like well-being, a good mental health practice in music look like for you today?
Well, I think music is an extension of life. So it sounds really, really simple, but I always know if I'm doing okay, but if I'm getting a decent amount of sleep.
Oh yeah, that's a great idea.
You know what I mean? If I've spent a week getting 3, 4, 5 hours, with the exclusion of my kids waking me up.
Yeah, fair.
Can't help that.
Yeah.
But yeah, getting a good amount of sleep and getting outside for me is a good indication of me being in a healthy state. If I look back over a few days and I haven't managed to do that, then I've got to start asking myself questions, and I'm getting better at recognizing when those moments come, because I haven't always been good. And then you'll look back and you'll be like, oh snap, I ain't slept for like 3 months. Do you know what I mean?
I do actually. I really do. Sleep is so important for mental health. I remember, unfortunately the name escapes me right now, but a sleep scientist who's been on the High Performance podcast a couple of times, talking about just how, and even like Pro Green was actually talking about this as well, a lack of sleep is so important to like mental health, or it's so detrimental to mental health. And often, you know, trigger warning, going to talk about something pretty heavy, but in most cases of male suicide, you look back at what was happening in the preceding weeks, and there was a severe lack of sleep. Because you know, men, when we don't sleep much, we get more aggressive and make rash decisions and bad decisions. And actually, such a simple, cheap, you know, non-therapeutic salve for, you know, bad mental health is like checking in on your sleep. It sounds so simple, but like it solves or helps to ease so many issues in your life, doesn't it?
100%, man. And also, you might wake up and you could still be in a really difficult spot, but I think taking that moment to rest, waking up in like daylight, for me anyway, makes a big difference. So that's helpful. And then, I don't know, it sounds kind of obvious, but especially when it comes to creating music, just trying to show up honestly. I think I've spent a lot of my career just being very good at like putting on a mask, and I don't know, like going into a session, for example, and pretending like everything's cool. But some of the best music that I've written and I've created has come as a result of really honest conversations with the people that I'm working with. So yeah, just any situation where I feel myself putting on a mask, I try my best to challenge myself to not do that.
Do you find that hard though? Like sometimes showing up in a session or in a space, an event, or what, even a gig, where you feel like you have to present in a certain way. I also get that, just being a black man, it's just like people expect you to be a certain way or expect you to like certain things or speak in a certain way.
Yeah.
Do you find that do you find yourself putting on that mask, in different situations? And also, has it changed over time? Are you like catching yourself doing it differently now, or even not doing it as much?
Yeah. Do you know, I think when I first started to realize I was doing it, it was like a really uncomfortable feeling because it's not natural not being yourself.
Yeah, of course.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think it really started in like a youth group that I used to go to that was connected to the local church, and everyone just seemed like so perfect. So when I was like struggling in my own life, I just felt like I couldn't say it, and I also had to like appear perfect, which felt unnatural. But the more you do something, the more you practice something, the better you get at it.
So true.
So actually, in a weird way, I think putting on a mask almost became like a subconscious badge of honor for me.
Yeah.
And almost like, oh my gosh, I'm so good at being like a chameleon. I could just go into any space and just be whoever they want me to be. Do you know what I mean? And do quite well at it. But you just reach a point in life, for me anyway, where you kind of hit a brick wall and you lose the ability to feel things. And I think that's the biggest side effect for me. I think putting on a mask for so long, it was almost like I was a walking zombie. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I couldn't feel.
Yeah. You put on a mask for so long, you kind of lose what's underneath it.
Yeah.
And then it's just like you're just left with a mask.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. I mean, you mentioned growing up in or being in that youth group connected to church. Obviously, faith is a big part of your life. How have you found that has helped, or how has that affected your like mental health in music, and how important has that been for you in your journey?
Yeah, I mean, it's a layered answer just because having a North Star and having a faith always means that whatever situation I find myself in, there's this thread of hope and optimism that I'm able to carry, knowing that, there's someone looking out for me, there's better days ahead. And that's really nice and really, really powerful for me. But then on the flip side, I think because, I'm kind of well known as a man of faith from a very young age, and my music career started at like 17.
Yeah.
Having to live up, or feeling like you have to live up to the expectation of you being like a role model or a super positive person could actually be quite detrimental, So yeah, I think for the most part, it's been a huge positive for me as long as I can live it out honestly.
Is it part of that sort of mask thing? Because I grew up in the church as well, and I've since left the faith, but I remember that feeling of like, because my family, we also like, my dad was always like a deacon or whatever, and we would sing as a family 6 nights a week.
6 nights a week?
So every day, except for Sunday, we'd go to church. We'd read the Bible, pray, and sing every day as a family. I knew the Bible so well, so I could smash Sunday school, regardless of how I felt, regardless of what was going on in my life. I could perform Christianity really well, and being like in a family like ours, you're expected to look a certain way. We were always an immigrant family, so expected to be a shining example, etc. And I found the weight of having to be perfect in faith, quite tasking sometimes when you're going through some real stuff, as a kid does,
100%.
Trying to live up to that. And where do you find navigating, say, your music now? I know you do all sorts of things. You're a broadcaster, football pundit, author, movie producer.
I wouldn't go that far, but I made a film.
Which is great, by the way. Everyone should check it out. Do you find that your faith touches everything that you do? It's not just applicable to music. Do you find that it's a North Star regardless of where you are?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, our journeys sound quite identical, to be honest, because yeah, it's really easy to learn how to speak the way that everyone speaks in whatever place of worship you're in, or dress the way that everyone dresses, and kind of like lose yourself a little bit. But I think the thing that really changed it for me was having children.
Right.
So my son's 6, my daughter's 3, and they're like sponges, man.
Yeah.
They see everything.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They see through any kind of mask or act.
Yeah.
So as much as I can leave my front door and put on whatever image I want to put on, my kids are seeing it all. And I just had this realization one day that, you know, wherever I'm at in life, I want to be honest with them about it, because they'll be able to see it, and it'll enable me to have way more authentic conversations, and also model to them that it's fine to feel things, it's fine to journey through life, it's fine to leave the faith, it's fine to have faith, whatever stage you're at. Let's talk about it. You know what I mean? Whereas if you're pretending, you lose out on a lot of those, you know, real conversations that you could be having.
When did you start talking about sort of mental health, and in particular, you know, masculinity and all that stuff in your art?
I think the kind of turning point for me was when my dad passed in 2017, and it was the first time I had lost anyone that was like really close to me in kind of depth of relationship and also proximity. I had lost like a grandparent before that, but she was in Ghana, so there was a lot of distance there. Hit me, but not in the same way. And then with my dad, coupled with being the oldest child, my mum needing support, and realizing that I hadn't really been equipped with the tools to be able to process what I was feeling and to communicate what I was feeling. That was kind of the start of my journey of taking it seriously, because for about 3 months I just survived on autopilot, and I actually thought I was doing fine. I'm from a culture of like stiff upper lip, sweep things under the carpet, keep it moving. And then I had a little bit of a wobble, a breakdown. And that was when I was like, I've actually got to try and sort this out and equip myself with the tools needed. So started therapy, started just being more honest with my friends that I was struggling, and still didn't have the answers, and probably was still performing a little bit just because I'd done it for so long. But that was the big turning point. You know?
How did your friends react to you opening up like that?
Calm, man.
Yeah. Good.
Calm. I think the general consensus was that, you know, this is a welcome space for you to do that. And people respond in different ways. So you have friends that are further along the journey of, you know, mental health and are equipped with more tools than you have. And those conversations like quite nice because you learn things. You've got friends that are at a similar stage as you, and they don't really know what to say, but they love that you said something.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
True. They can just hold the space for you.
Yeah, they can just hold the space. So for the most part, I think a lot of the fear was just in my head. That actually, like the man was so calm, bro.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, and actually, oftentimes you might think that your mates would have a kind of adverse reaction or something, but actually, friends want an opportunity to be friends. Simon Sinek, I think, mentioned something about, you know, he was like, how many times, if your mate said to you, like, oh, I didn't want to bother you, and they're having a really terrible time, and they're like, oh, I didn't want to bother you. It's just like, you'd be like, what are you talking about? Bother me. It's like, friends want opportunities to be friends. And like, I'm sure all of our friends, whoever you are, wherever you are, even your family as well, opening up, you know, not necessarily to get an answer or to get fixed or anything like that, but just opening up to someone gives them an opportunity to love you.
Yeah, facts.
Which I think is it's really powerful. Like, speaking of like your friends, it's like, how much has community like meant to you in your journey as a musician? And are some of these friends you're talking about, are they also musicians, or is this just like your general just friends from home?
So one of my best friends, he's a guy called Nick. He's a musician. We actually connected because I went to a school year 7 to 11. Then that school had a sixth form. He joined in sixth form, and we were like rap battling in the common room, as you do. And then he came forward and then he just like killed it. So I was like, bruv, who is this? Who is this guy? Turns out he's been rapping for a while. He's out of East London, did really well, got signed to Ireland, and had a great career. But was also like the best man at my wedding, for example, and also is a really good communicator. And his dad, I guess there's a generational gap, but his dad's also done a lot of work in the area of, you know, equipping himself with the tools. So Nick, for example, is a great person to talk to because I can be real, I can show what I'm going through and vice versa. But he also has the context of, okay, what does this mean for music, or how are you going to, you know, communicate these themes in music? And that was especially helpful for the latest album because I'm talking about shame, I'm talking about dependency, I'm talking about addiction, and that's all well and good, but while you're talking about these themes, you're also like in recovery yourself, so you have to look after like your actual life as well as
just talk about it,
just talking about it, you know. So it's been really helpful, you know, my friends having the background in music, you know, because music's just it's such a unique world, man.
It's so unique. And I think I came on this a little bit of fire talking about this. Before we move on, a quick shout out to Music Minds Matter for making this whole podcast possible. Music Minds Matter is there to offer help and support for anyone working in the music industry at any point in their career with things like free helpline, free online resources, and practical wellbeing tips. So please get involved, go online, reach out to Music Minds Matter. We are here to help. And back to the episode.
I think it was again, bro.
Yeah, right. We'll just talk about how musicians are like. There is a unique. What's the word? It's such a toll on your mental health, being a creative person in general. But I think there's something about being a musician. It's partly because it's a job that kind of everybody wants to have, but then when you actually get into doing it, it demands kind of everything of you. There's less and less and less guarantees of income in this world. It's considered cool. You should be grateful that you should be you're in the position to do it, but then when it doesn't blow up the way that you've been told that it's going to by the industry and by society, just like you're suddenly a failure. There's so many different things, and it's also music is part of you. It's like it's a spiritual thing.
Sure.
And when you say put that out and it gets rejected, it's like, oh, you are rejecting my soul. So it's like, of course it takes so much from you. It can demand so much from you, but then the highs can be so high.
My relationship with that is interesting. So firstly, I would say with music, but with anything really, it's about what I've learned is defining what success is for me. So, you know, I could put this album out and 5 people could listen to it, but if those 5 people connect with the themes, then like that's okay. Do you know what I mean? Whereas before, I think I used to see it as if this is not like number 1 on a rap chart or whatever, then it's failed. Just isn't true. But I think what you're saying is so accurate because I don't know, the amount of times I've heard the word no in music is wild. So that definition of success has become just like really, really important for me.
When did that change? Like, was that, was it this record? Because I think you said it's been a minute since your last one, and obviously you've been doing life, having, you know, with your kids and just, you know, expressing other parts of your talents. Were you like, this next record, I'm going to change the goalposts, or was it already happening? Like, what success meant?
I think I was, as you get older, right, you learn that not all that glitters is gold, and every single person has a different musical journey. So I think at some point I realized if I don't get like a major record deal, like it's fine. Like, do you know what I mean? I could figure out a way to make it work. But the big turning point recently with this album is just the aim to live honestly being way more important than having this glittering music career. What you said about the highs being so high, the lows being so low, I think my brain has been wired to seek these really extreme highs, and I actually just want to live a life that's just like here, bro. It's not super glamorous, but it's quite consistent, it's quite healthy. That's my aim. Obviously I still am ambitious, and anything that happens that is above there is a bonus, but I can't allow it to define me, and I can't go searching for it because I know that it's not not healthy. And I think that I've realized this because when I don't get that high, I go seeking it elsewhere, and those places where I go to seek it aren't healthy either. So
Yeah.
I just want to live like a super consistent, like super chill life.
I mean, eventually wanting a chill life comes for us all.
Yeah.
I remember when this will be my 20th year touring, and it's like,
Looking good, bro.
thank you.
Touring hasn't taken its toll on you.
Oh, it did. It tried. Trust me. This is what 7 years being clean and sober has done
Big ups,
to
man.
revert the damage. But there was at one point. So currently, I'm on tour with Gorillaz. We're having a little gap now, and we've got gigs till like the beginning of next year. There's a lot of shows. I used to want to be away all the time, like constantly, because I was just not cultivating a home life I wanted to go back to. But also when you're young, you just like, yeah, let me just go. But as I get older, I'm like 2 weeks away max before wanting to touch home, have like my favorite mug in my hand. And
love that, bro.
Just like how funny things change.
That's
like,
amazing, man.
It comes for all of us.
Yeah, I'm the same, man. There was a point where I just didn't like being at home.
Yeah.
Man. Even if I don't have to be away anywhere, I would just always find a motive just to get out of the house. And to be honest, I'm still on that journey of like, all right, cool, you got a free weekend. Don't start looking for things to do. Just stay in your yard, bro.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So can I ask you a question?
Yes, you.
No, this is my interview, but in terms of being on tour,
Yes.
and everyone else, I don't want to assume, but some people will be partaking in the usual like tour lifestyle. As someone that's, changed the way you live your life, what's it like being in that environment?
It's a good question, and it's changed. Firstly, the responsibility is on you to look after yourself. So like you can't just expect people to change their lifestyle because you've changed yours.
Yeah, facts.
But what you need to do in that respect is like take responsibility. Like I had to be, so the first tour I did, fresh out of being sort of clean and sober, I had to be like ruthless with my time. So I'd play the gig and I'd leave. Like I would not hang like before or after the gig. On days off, I was kind of just on a solo mission. I was kind of, in some ways, white knuckling it, but I was just like, I was really hanging on. But it just took quite an extreme measure to survive.
Yeah.
But now, thankfully, also I've got a bit of time under my belt. Like I can be around people having a drink or whatever, and I've found my equilibrium with it. Yeah. I still also have a much shorter social battery than I thought I did, which is okay. Just like about 90 minutes anywhere is long enough. Yeah. So I leave.
We'll wrap up this podcast soon, bro.
Yeah, exactly. No. About 10 minutes left. I'm very ruthless with that. But also I'm very well supported, thankfully. All the bands I play in are so supportive. I've got non-alcoholic drinks on the rider. Just people know what I'm about, so people respect me and respect the environment, Love so that. It's like, it's really beautiful. Again, talk about friends wanting to be friends. They reached out to me, being like, what do you need? So it's like, I'm beyond well supported, but I've also made it clear to every project I've done since and everything that I do. I'm just like, this is what I'm about. This is what I don't do. Please just have a think. So making it clear to other people helps.
I love that, man. Yeah, and that's such a blessing. I found similar as well. Sometimes you feel quite wary or cautious opening up to, what your needs might be or what you're trying to do because of, I don't know, maybe the fear of being othered or whatever it is. But people have always been quite receptive on the most part. And I love what you said about, your mates hitting you up and being like, what do you need? I saw a video the other day actually that spoke about agency, and it spoke about if you've got a friend that needs help and you say to them, let me know if you need anything. Yeah. They'll nearly like always just never let you know.
Not shout you. I really think that's true. I remember, was it, I can't remember his name, an actor who was also talking about that when their wife passed. And people would be like, oh, just let me know if you need anything. Whereas like, I think they were friends with like Nigella Lawson, and she would just bring around lunch. And it was just like, oh, thank goodness I don't have to cook while, my wife is sick or, while the kids are crying, whatever. It's just like actually reaching out. And it doesn't have to be a lot. It can be a text. It can be a voice note.
Yeah, facts.
Or, it can be popping around. Not everybody's into that. But yeah, I think you have to be active in your recovery. You have to be active in curating your environment. but it's lovely when your friends do that as well, or when you can be that for somebody who's in need, just like with some encouragement, with some practical active thing. Because saying let me know what you need implies the person knows what they need, and also it's just like it puts the responsibility on them.
100%, man.
Yeah,
that's one thing I'd say to people, and I do say to artists, younger artists. I do some music sessions every now and again at a music uni, and I always say when you're on your music career, always look out for people that might not be the first name on the flyer or the most popular, but they're just good people that care about you. I think that's one of the most important things that I've learned in music, because when things are going left or they're not going as great, those are the people that are going to show up, man. Do you know what I mean? And really look out for you.
Yeah, it's about people. I mean, community is so important. How deep is your network of close friends? Do you still hang with us? Like you said that your mate from sixth form, still hang with him. I've found community, not just the sober community and the those sort of fellowships, but sort of my fraternity of musicians and friends. And now I'm finding it on social media as well. Social media can be the epicenter of a lot of horrible things, but it can also be a great place to meet like-minded people and to share
100%
encouragement. How is your relationship with your network of friends, but also maybe talk about social media and how's that affected your mental health?
Man, friendship's such an interesting one. I think I've got my day ones, I guess, that haven't really changed. I would say that's mainly literally 2 or 3 people that I've known from when I was really young. And I think there's something really beautiful about all of our lives taking different forms and shapes and directions, but we always come back to each other, and we've always got this kind of unconditional love for each other. And I think there's something special around friends that know not just the best about you, but the absolute worst about you, and it doesn't change how they view you. For me, that is truly unconditional love. Doesn't mean that you get away with anything. They'll hold you accountable, but ultimately there's a bedrock of love there, and I think that's special. But then I have had to let some friends go, not because they're not good friends, but because even when you go through something in life and you're trying to rebuild, you kind of need people around you that don't just see you through an old lens. That takes a lot of rewiring. This guy might have done a madness, or this guy might have not been the best friend in this season, and subconsciously I'm going to hold him to account for the rest of his life. That's not going to help anyone. So sometimes you need people from new communities that are going to give you a bit of a fresh slate, because that's going to give you the confidence that you can be the person that you're aiming to be, And then I think social media is just the weirdest and wonderful, the weirdest and most wonderful place, because even with the film, there's people that have watched the film and messaged me saying, yo man, even though you're talking about your story, I feel like you were speaking for me. I had a guy that came to a show the other day, told me his life story that was wild.
Wow.
And now that's my guy. You know what I mean? So I think friendship is layered. But
that's beautiful. I'm really glad that you had that experience with the reach of your film, and it's such a cool thing. How do you feel about this new record coming out? Are you excited?
I feel like it's maybe the truest thing that I've written. Not maybe, definitely. It's also a slightly different sound. It's kind of jazz, rap, gospel, fusion. A lot of it was recorded live with live instruments, drums and bass and stuff, and I just think it's nice that the people that like my music have grown with me. They've known me from, some of them when I first started out, some of them joined from, they just heard me chatting rubbish about West Ham and thought, let me check out his music. Some of them liked what I said about fatherhood. So you've got these kind of connecting themes that are cool. But bro, to be honest, you don't know with music, man. You don't know how it's going to connect, but I've done the best I can in the studio, and hopefully it helps someone and they enjoy it.
Great. And tell me about this film real quick. How is it doing that project, being in front of the camera? Were you writing it as well?
Yeah, so I wrote it with my director, Christoph Davis, who's an incredible director. And I think with dependency, addiction, shame, there's so much nuance. And I got across some of that nuance in the album, but I think that film, moving picture just does an incredible job of speaking without words.
That feeling of a loop, like, it was actually, I found it quite jarring. I remember that, like, especially to the tail end of my addiction, where it was just like, I was just spending months in my room, basically just ignoring the world.
Yeah.
And that you're spinning the spinning coin motif, just going round and round and round, and then just like the same thing, different day. Like, I think you really captured that. Well, it was a visceral reaction. I was just like, this is making me uncomfortable because I remember that.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, man. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, sometimes when you'll know as a creator yourself and a musician, you think you're speaking for yourself, and then one day people hear it and you realize, oh, I'm not alone, you know. But the response has been amazing, and I think I just wanted to show that this stuff is rarely black and white. There's a lot of grey, and I think in this world that's like ever so polarizing and divisive, people want to see things in a black and white fashion, but sometimes you have to be willing to sit in like an uncomfortable space and open up and peel back layers, you know.
So it's a couple of little closing sort of reflections.
Here we go.
If someone is chasing a music career but neglecting themselves, what would you want them to hear?
It's not a race. Don't be afraid to slow down. My friends always take the mick because I always talk about one of my mates called Matthew, who years and years ago went traveling for 6 months, South America, and he got back and he was like, I just feel like I haven't missed anything. Do you know what I mean? So I was like, man, I'm like, slow down, man. It's not a race. And I do understand. I don't want to be like pie in the sky. Yes, we get older. Yes, maybe we get like less cooler. Yes, the industry changes so fast, but I think great art doesn't expire. So taking some time out to make sure that you are well means that you could probably have a more sustainable career at a healthy level.
And great art, I guess, I gather from what you've been saying, and I think I probably resonate with it too, is like great art comes from honesty.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm someone that's always struggled to be like really honest, especially in my art, because of the themes that I'm talking about. You can kind of come across as honest. It can be like, oh my gosh, he's talking about his dad that just passed away. That's so vulnerable.
Yeah.
But then I know, looking in the mirror, I can get so much more vulnerable. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, great art is honest for sure.
Yeah, like being raw isn't just like talking about the worst thing that's happened to you.
Exactly.
It's like, because I remember actually thinking about sort of in addiction, there's like the obvious, or even talk about sobriety now, there's the obvious thing where you think, oh, is the lows that are the terrible times, etc. It's just like, the thing I struggle with the most is when I feel great. It's like, how do I celebrate now?
Yeah,
and like,
for sure.
which you don't think, I didn't know that would be a problem ever in my life. How do I feel great about stuff, and how do I perpetuate that feeling?
Facts.
It's like, knowing, and so being vulnerable isn't necessarily just talking about when you feel like, oh, I was on the streets, man. But it's just like, I feel really embarrassed because I don't know how to be happy anymore.
Yeah,
it's like, that's
deep. And also connection as well. When you said about that, it reminded me of a guy I listen to a lot. He's called Dr. Gabor Mate. Some of his clips on the album. Yeah, but he says the opposite to addiction is not recovery, it's connection. And I think
the opposite of addiction isn't.
Yeah.
It's connection.
Yeah, 100%. People just think, oh, it's sobriety or it's recovery or whatever, but it's actually, moving out of isolation and connecting with other people.
Yeah. Well, that sounds like peace to me. Mate, Governor, thank you so much.
My guy.
I really appreciate you.
Love, man.
Nice one.
Yeah, you too.
If you've been affected by any of the topics discussed, or you feel like you're struggling, reach out to Music Minds Matter anytime confidentially on 0808 802 8008.